My name is Josh, and I'm the founder of HR University, and I have over 6 years of HR experience. I'm also a certified HR professional, and I consult for many different companies in the HR world like Bamboo HR, GoCo, Gusto, and companies that are more in unique startup areas like Future Fuel, as well as financial companies that deal with financial benefits. In this video, I'm going to take you through the role of a crucial professional profile within the HR team, and that is of the HR business partner. Before we dive into this journey, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of all future instructional videos from HR experts. Now let's go ahead and jump in. So who is an HR business partner? They are HR professionals who work with executives, C-suite officials to improve their HR functions on human resource agendas, and as a bridge between HR department and senior management to meet business objectives. When you think of an HR business partner, here are some real-world examples that may help you understand their role. First, we must understand that human resource business partners are nowadays different from before because of the evolution of the HR field. It looks very different today than it used to. Now the role is not merely to manage personnel or their administration, but they are conduits between the local leadership and corporate HR. And here's how you may look at that. John was hired as an HR business partner for the first time back in 2003, when old school HR functions were not enough to deliver for the organization. The company created a new capability called HR site management. And this was a way to bridge the divide between the local leadership and corporate HR. The new department was responsible for employee relations and acted as a conduit between corporate and local business units. John's second encounter with the HR business partner role came in 2009. The role was created and funded with talent from overstaffed recruitment and employee relations departments. The role's responsibilities included some employee relations shared with the employee relations team, recruitment of manager level jobs, and general liaison with manager and director level positions. With lower recruiting volumes, the model worked. However, when the recruitment volume started to increase, the model was not sustainable. In addition, although there were many alignment meetings with the Employee Relations Center of Expertise, the misalignment continued. The gap in consistency and interpretation between the centers of the expertise and the HR business partner function persisted. Let's look at John's third job as an HR business partner. In this encounter, the employee relations function was fully centralized in the Employee Relations Center of Expertise. The HR business partner no longer attended employee appeal hearings and responded to compliance hotline complaints. The biggest change was a shift from supporting manager level leaders to vice presidents and higher ups. By moving support up the chain of command, the HR business partner could more easily influence decisions and projects, unlike they were able to do before. And there we have it. These three examples clearly identify the nature of the HR business partner's role as strategic and in close collaboration with experts from each departmental unit, and also how it's elevated over time to work with more senior executives. To elaborate further on this subject, I've included a case study in the text section below this video. You can see it in the description, so make sure to go ahead and check it right after the video, or pause the video and go ahead and take a look. It talks about the iterations of the role of an HR business partner. I'd also like to mention a saying by Lawrence Bossidy: "Nothing we do is more important than hiring people. At the end of the day, you bet on people, not strategies." We can interpret that quote from an HR business partner's perspective like this: finding the top talent is a challenge, but at the end of the day, it's all worth it because you know you can count on them. Now let's take a look at the Dave Ulrich model. Dave was an HR champion and no ordinary author, as he was in fact looked upon as the great father of human resources, according to HR Magazine. As you can see in this image, there are 4 segments to it, signifying 4 roles of the HR professional. You have the strategic partner, or the human resource business partner, as we mentioned. You have the change agent. You have the administrative expert and employee champion. The Dave Ulrich HR model is meant to specifically organize human resource functions. He suggested this model to larger organizations or large-scale businesses where HR functions should be compartmentalized into 4 segments. In this way, they'd be easier to be processed and execute upon. According to the Dave Ulrich model, the role of an HR business partner was defined in this model as an entity that works directly with senior leadership and management. They also work with the HR coordinator to align the business goals with employees and management goals in designated business units. Now we'll dive into some of the responsibilities of an HRBP. Their job is to find talented and skilled individuals with a forward, data-driven, and futuristic approach. It is also their biggest challenge. Once they accomplish acquiring talent, they are then to design training and succession plans to nurture their employees, human capital assets. Finally, they have to create programs to use the talent in the best way possible and shaping them into world-class leaders. They also play the role of a change agent within an organization. For that to happen, they steer performance management programs as a way to ensure organizational improvement. And they introduce new HR policies and laws to shape organizational change. And they make sure that changes are applied without disturbing the organization's harmony, and they stay vigilant during the entire transition phase that the organization goes through. Now that we know the role of an HR business partner, let's go hop into the next section where we'll take a look at HR from a historical perspective and how that HR's roles has led into a more strategic area. Here I've shared a brief history of HR over the course of centuries. The reason to share this image with you is to let you know that the role of HR has evolved over time and is now less administrative. At this moment in time, HR's position is more strategic than ever before. And that's why HR business partners have a very important role to play today in leading organizations to achieve their business objectives. They're also a change agent for them, an employee champion and a center of excellence, and they provide a shared service. In short, we need HR business partners in organizations if they want to progress and scale effectively. Let's go back to the 18th century when HR was merely considered welfare officers. They had to protect female employees and children. They cared for injured and sick employees. And they're also there to address the harshness of working industrial conditions. A lot has changed since then. In the next phase, what happened was during the World Wars, HR's job was to deal with labor and employment challenges, and they had to administer absence, train and recruit, and maintain state trade union partnerships, handle queries on compensation matters, and also manage employee data. And as soon as this data became more prevalent in the job description of HR professionals, things started to become more strategic. And from 1945 to 1979, HR was a vessel for personnel management. They were in charge of this personnel management. This meant welfare and employee management was integrated to become personnel management. And their output was influenced by employment policies and formulated compensation policies. They were also involved in collective bargaining and IR and specialized in organizational functions. That brings us to the era from 1980 to 2000 when human resources and compliance officers had similar duties. HR or compliance officers in this case had to administer and provide technical expertise and focus on improving efficiency and effectiveness. Consider compensation engineering as a key to productivity such as incentive plans. And feel free to pause the video here and take a minute to really get an idea of what's presented in this image before we hop into the next segment. A human resource business partner needs the following key skills to ensure business growth that can be directly attributed to human resources. So the first thing here is proactive thinking. A strategic business partner needs to incorporate all and external influencing factors while working on various workforce challenges and strategies. And they also need people management skills. So the job of an HRBP doesn't end at recruiting talented people. Rather, it's a first task from their to-do list. They need to have a direct approach toward maintaining a positive employee experience, developing a talent retention strategy, and creating succession planning strategies to develop new HR leaders. And they need great communication skills. They have to collaborate with executives in different tiers within an organization. Therefore, they need to be straightforward, intelligent, and have proficiency in the language that the team members speak. And often this sometimes means that they even need to understand new languages. So that may be Spanish, maybe Portuguese, maybe Arabic, and they also need to be able to create a great culture. So that means they need to be able to influence culture and maintain constructive employee relations. And here at number 5, we have professional networking. The role of an HRBP is managing human resource, which may strictly bound them to the internal team of their organization. However, building relationships within the industry may open up growth opportunities for their associated organization. And 6 here, we have analytical skills. They should be proficient at crunching data and employing it usefully in business strategies. And 7, we have business knowledge. The HRBP should be accustomed to the business jargon and acronyms and be able to speak in business terminology. And finally, we have number 8, decision making. They should keenly observe the requirements of the business and make decisions that favor the business objectives. That concludes the list of 8 skills you need to become a business partner along with their descriptions. The HRBP is a personification of an indomitable spirit who's willing to take risks for the company's growth and stand by its decisions. And agility must run in their blood, which will make it easier for them to proceed new tasks and learn through their ongoing experiences. This is the strategic management process that an HRBP has to prepare for the rest of the people to follow. Feel free to pause the video and take a minute to really understand here the information. The first step is to determine the position. In this step, your job is to identify strategic issues that need addressing. Identify market opportunities and threats, assess customer insights, determine employee strengths and weaknesses, and synthesize data into summary SWOT items. And just a quick note here, SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You might have heard this before as SWOT analysis. And the next step is to develop strategy. In this step, determine your organization's core purpose, identify your core beliefs, create an image of what success looks like in 5 years, and solidify your unique position, and establish an approach for how you will succeed. And then develop a 3-year balanced framework of 6 or fewer objectives, and develop a 3-year financial projection. The third step here is to build a plan. In this step, you have to process the SWOT analysis to set priorities. Set short to midterm SMART goals. So this means a year plus out, and select key performance indicators to track progress. And you might do this on a quarterly basis. And cascade organizational goals to departments and cascade department goals to individuals so everybody has some level of responsibility. And make sure to align that year budget with the plan. Finally, the fourth step is to manage performance. In this step, your job is to communicate strategy to the whole organization, establish a schedule for progress reviews, train the team to use software, hold progress reviews, and modify and update annually. And this is the whole process that becomes part of your job description as an HRBP. Now that we have a fair bit of understanding of their skills, let's look at the difference between an HR manager and an HR business partner. An HR manager and HR business partner could have the same level of experience, but the nature of the jobs are different. Let's first look at the responsibilities of an HR business partner. They develop, implement, and maintain HR strategies. So they collaborate and work with the executives. And their job description entails succession planning, employee training, analyzing talent requirements, recruiting, and onboarding. As compared to an HR business partner, an HR manager enforces the laws created by the HRBP and the HR director and makes sure that the team is practicing the company's principles. They work with senior HRs, VP of HR, HR generalists, HR directors, and they're a part of the internal core team. And their job description entails creating the company's disciplinary policies, payroll and benefits processing, coordinating support staff, talent acquisition, and ensuring regulatory compliance, and also measuring employee productivity. Now that we have an understanding of the major differences between the two, in the next section, we'll take a look at VUCA. Now let's look at some of the challenges HR professionals may have to face during their careers. An HR business partner has to have the strength and mindset to counter them. First is volatility. It refers to the speed, volume, nature, and magnitude of a phenomenon that may or may not be in a pattern form. Volatility increases complexity. Second, we have uncertainty. It occurs when there are no concrete trends or patterns, which makes it difficult to establish what will happen next and base decisions on it. And third, we have complexity. It describes a number of different states a system can get into at a certain point in time. The more states a system can get into, the higher its complexity and ultimately the harder it gets to manage it. And lastly, we have ambiguity. It describes a situation where multiple interpretations are permitted and equally valid. This makes it hard to decide what to do in order to achieve the desired outcome. And if you combine all these terms, we have VUCA. So if you are thinking of becoming an HR business partner, think this through and have VUCA ready to use in your toolbox. We're almost at the end of the video, so make sure to stick on through. Let's go ahead and answer a simple question here. Why is a business partner important for a firm? They are important because they strengthen an organization, relieve pressure from executives, and provide strategic solutions to problems. And they help design strategies to align with the company's long-term goals. And they also assess employee strengths and weaknesses. And they also fully use their potential to deliver on the company's goals. Now we come to the part that might interest you the most, the HRBP's average salary. The average HR business partner salary in the US is about $62,316 as of July 28, 2021, but the range typically falls between about $56,000 to upwards to $70,597 according to salary.com. And according to PayScale, the average salary of an HRBP is $75,000, close to $76,000 per year, while Glassdoor mentions their national average salary to be $93,000 per year in the US. So there's a whole lot of range here in terms of the salary, and it really depends on the company that you work for and the location that you're working in. And to elaborate further on salary structures a bit more, I've included a case study in the text section of below the video, so right in the description area. It's about a few people hunting for jobs with set salary expectations. You can get to read the interviewers and interviewees' interesting conversations as well. Becoming an HRBP requires years of experience, learning about the business, industry you're interested in, company, and working on qualities like consistency, dedication, and curiosity. For an entry-level junior HR business partner, a degree in business or HRM is required, as well as excellent communication, stakeholder management, and data understanding, among other things. A senior level HR business partner requires 10 plus years of experience in relevant HR and business roles. And oftentimes they have an MBA. And there we have it. We have just finished discussing the role of an HR business partner. In this video, we saw the aspects of an HRBP and how that general role of an HR has evolved over the years. And again, my name's Josh. I'm founder of HR University, and we'll take a break until we hop into another video, and make sure to subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video and like the video as well, so you can get lots of new cool HR videos right into your YouTube newsfeed. And I wish you the best of success in your HR career journey, and I'll see you until next time. Cheers.